It's pretty crazy. Last week we covered a GameStop stock that was already up by 100%, and today it jumped by, at the time of this recording, by 44%. I want to do this follow-up video just to see if any of the fundamental things that we talked about last week, like their financials or perhaps a short squeeze, is still going on, and why did it jump today so high. In the morning, they used the distribution service for their media release that was titled GameStop signs a strategic multi-year partnership with Microsoft that will help them with the strategic pillars of their omni-channel ecosystem. So, if you didn't read the actual media release, this sounds like great news, especially since Xbox is Microsoft. So there is some sort of strategic partnership between a distributor and the provider of the consoles. Perhaps they are close to turning their fortune around. And I think just the headline is what pushed the stock up in the morning. Now, if you're a day trader or a technical investor, perhaps this movement tells you something, especially when you look at the history of the stock and you see for how long that short thesis was going on. But I personally try to invest in companies for long term. So when something like that comes out, and I am interested in gaming industry because I do believe that this is a super profitable industry that will only become more profitable, I guess first thing is what you gotta do is you gotta read the actual media statement and see if it is fundamentally changes anything that you knew about the company. So the media release consists of 4 things, and they kind of written this big MBA sort of language with a strategic partnership. But let's just read them one by one and kind of think about what do they actually mean. Number 1 is GameStop is gonna standardize their backend with Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's ERP, enterprise resource planning software, basically a family of cloud-based softwares that talk to each other. They create the data lake, and you can mine that data to be more efficient in your operations and make more money off your customers. Does it mean anything? Well, I put in a category, so what? To me, it actually sounds like Microsoft sold their ERP services to GameStop, because I find it hard to believe that before Dynamics 365, they didn't have some sort of a software and a backend to give them those data insights. And if they did, why were they in the state they are in right now? So will Dynamics 365 make a material fundamental change in the way they conduct business? I doubt it. So number 2 item in the media release is that the sales associates will be equipped with Microsoft Surfaces, which will allow them to unlock the retail experience of the future. Again, does it mean anything? I don't think so. I think sales associates have been using some sort of a tablets for a while now. And again, I don't think that changes the issues that are going on with GameStop materially for this price to go up by 44%. Number 3 is that they're gonna roll out Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Teams for everybody, which will allow for like crazy degree of collaboration, empowerment, and sharing of data insights. Does it mean anything? Not really. Because why? Because, well, Google Docs and Microsoft 365 have been available for a decade, I think. Google Meets, Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, that was all available to GameStop. So I don't think this area of strategic partnerships will create anything in addition to what they've been doing before. So again, this just looks like Microsoft sold a bunch of licenses to GameStop. Number 4, GameStop can now sell Xbox All Access. And if you don't know what that is, basically it's a payment program for 24 months where you get a free console and you get access to Xbox Game Ultimate Pass for those 24 months. So it will allow you, if you really want to play games on Xbox and you don't have money, you can get it with 0 upfront cost for a low monthly payment. Does it change anything? Well, it's an interesting one because I do like the subscription model. I do like those like 0 down, like low barriers to entry for the gamers. But the issue that we discussed in last week's video still remains. Who is getting the revenue? Is Microsoft getting the revenue, which I think is the case, or GameStop? And if Microsoft getting the revenue, how's GameStop being paid? Is it a flat fee for one sale? Is it a commission per month? And of course, more importantly, is will Microsoft sell that Xbox All Access through any other channel, mainly their own website? Because if they will, then this is kind of like very one-sided, multi-level year strategic partnerships, because by the looks of it, it just looks like Microsoft shoved down all of their products to GameStop and gains extra distribution channel for their Xbox All Access. In summary, reading the media release, I don't see evidence of anything materially changing from last week to warrant the 42% increase in the stock. I kind of actually see the opposite, because except Xbox, we also have Sony with PlayStation 5 and exclusive titles. And even though this is not a real partnership, because of the way they try to frame it, that can actually piss Sony off, and they might do their exclusive partnership with somebody else. Now, a reasonable question here: if this media release is so easy to read and understand, why did the stock price go up by 40%? I'll give you a straight up answer. I have no idea, just like last week, because for a fundamental investor, there are just not enough data points to understand what's happening. In my opinion, what is going on is a short squeeze. Remember, this stock been going down for a while. So if you held a short position in the last 3 or 4 years, you were probably printing money. But right now, when the price is at the rock bottom, any positive news can swing it wildly. So what I think happened today is, in the morning, this sort of news and positive spin of that, the multi-level, multi-year partnership with Microsoft, sort of pushed the price a little bit up, which forced all of the brokerage accounts that held the short positions to start selling their stock, which in turn put the stock even more up, which caused even more short sellers to sell their stock to close their positions. I think that is what's going on. Now, I know that there are some people that are predicting that the stock is going to go to 45 at least, and perhaps they're right. I just have no idea, and I know there is no data to support it. So again, for me, this is purely gambling territory, where instead of looking at the fundamental financials, people are just trying to guess the price of the stock and make money on either calls or puts. Me personally, I'm way too risk averse for that. But I thank you for watching, and until the next time.